Prime Minister attends Vietnam-China Business Forum. And strengthening Vietnam's role in the global semiconductor industry. Later in our world news, Russia is ready for dialogue with the U.S.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It's currently 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Phie bringing you the latest updates. Now, on Friday morning, the National Assembly held a plenary session to discuss a draft data law. More to follow.
While deputies agreed on the need for a new law, they stressed the importance of additional regulations to safeguard against personal data breaches and leaks.
Voters are deeply concerned about the leakage, exploitation, and illegal trade of personal data, which remains largely unchecked. Therefore, I recommend that the draft law address these issues.
I propose that the government urgently research and propose a law on personal data protection or a law on information protection that covers personal data. This law should be in line with Article 21 of the 2013 Constitution and provide the legal basis for exercising human rights under relevant international conventions.
Deputies also expressed support for provisions in the draft law concerning international data transfers. These measures aim to prevent exploitation that could compromise national security and sovereignty.
I support the transfer of data to foreign organizations and individuals, but we must be cautious. We must protect digital sovereignty and national interests while also ensuring compliance with international practices that ensure the free flow of secure data across borders.
The National Assembly also reviewed and discussed amendments to the advertising law, the revised chemical law, and the investment policy for the National Program on Drug Prevention and Control until 2030.
Now, during his working visit to China, Prime Minister Phie attended the Vietnam-China Business Forum in Chongqing. Speaking at the forum, the Prime Minister emphasized that the Vietnam-China Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, aimed at building a community with a shared future, has a solid foundation and an open market, making economic, trade, and investment cooperation crucial. Vietnam is pursuing 3 key strategic breakthroughs: institutional reform, infrastructure development, and high-quality workforce training. The goal is to create a transparent business environment, reduce costs, and improve competitiveness. The Prime Minister encouraged businesses from both countries to strengthen partnerships, helping to realize agreements, commitments, and shared understandings between the two nations. Now, the global semiconductor market is experiencing its strongest growth in the past 3 years. Vietnam now has significant opportunities and competitive advantages to deepen its involvement in the global semiconductor industry. More to follow.
Cadence, one of the 2 major semiconductor companies in the United States, is attending the Vietnam Semiconductor Industry Exhibition 2024 to expand its collaboration with Vietnamese universities.
We expect to sign agreements with over 20 universities to train semiconductor talent. We have successfully supported the full licensing of semiconductor design software for the training programs at the Global Innovation Center. We are completing a project with our Vietnamese partners to invest in virtual reality applications in the next phase.
The event showcased about 100 booths from companies like Qualcomm, Intel, and Siemens, highlighting technology partners' interest in Vietnam's semiconductor capabilities, from design and testing to packaging. According to the Global Semiconductor Alliance, the Vietnamese semiconductor market will surpass $7 billion by 2028. with an average annual growth rate of about 6.7%.
We are completing a project with our Vietnamese partner to invest in infrastructure, simulation software, and virtual reality applications for the testing phase before full implementation. I believe this strategic move will be very effective for the semiconductor industry.
We are in the process of forming an ecosystem here that promotes both training at university and research institutes, from R&D to talent development, as well as attracting investors to drive production, testing, and packaging.
Vietnam aims to produce 50,000 semiconductor engineers and train 1,300 specialized lecturers, positioning the country as a hub for semiconductor talent. This initiative is key to not only joining the global value chain but also establishing a self-sustaining semiconductor ecosystem that fosters innovation and product development.
Employment in the enterprise sector has increased by 5.7% compared to the same period last year. According to the General Statistics Office, this is due to strong growth in the industrial sector and substantial growth across several economic fields over the past 10 months. Total resales of goods and consumer service revenue rose by 8.5% during this period. Many businesses have seen a continuous increase in orders, leading to a sharp rise in labor demand, particularly in sectors like textiles and footwear. Moreover, foreign direct investment in Vietnam, which grew by 8.8% year-over-year, has also contributed to the increased demand for labor. Vietnam's South Central Coast offers ideal location for coastal sand shrimp farming. In recent years, local shrimp farmers, cooperatives, and seafood companies have adopted a recirculating aquaculture system. This model is considered more eco-friendly, as it allows shrimp farmers to reduce pollutants that degrade water quality, a common issue in traditional aquaculture and related activities.
Despite the rainy season, shrimp yields in these ponds have increased thanks to the application of a recirculating aquaculture system. The shrimp grow well, with a total output reaching 50 tons per hectare, doubling the amount of shrimp harvested through traditional farming methods.
We've utilized beneficial microorganisms to treat discharge water and reduce the impact of diseases on productivity and profitability in shrimp farming.
On his 3 hectares of shrimp farming area, Lộc manages 12 ponds. 3 of them are specifically designated for water treatment, while the other 9 are used for shrimp cultivation. In recent years, he has used specialized nets to cover the shrimp ponds, thereby optimizing conditions for shrimp growth and health.
Previously, I used antibiotics, but now I use probiotics, which prove highly effective in enhancing shrimp growth. This eco-shrimp farming reduces environmental pollution as it improves water quality.
Since we established a cooperative for white-leg shrimp farming, we have worked with shrimp breeding suppliers and aquaculture feed manufacturers, and had access to processing and preservation technologies for shrimp cultivation.
The assessment shows that the central coastal provinces have numerous advantages for aquaculture development, especially at brackish shrimp farming. The total shrimp farming area had expanded to 6,000 hectares. The recirculating aquaculture system has proven effective in shrimp farming, delivering high yields while preventing environmental pollution.
Vietnam's agricultural exports have continued to grow strongly since the beginning of the year. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development forecasts that this year will see the highest agricultural export turnover in the country's history.
The use of refrigerated containers has ensured the quality of coconuts during overseas shipment to China. The Vietnam Coconut Association predicts that coconut exports to China could reach $250 million USD this year.
Our fresh coconuts have great potential, and we've developed an excellent variety structure. Currently, the taste of Vietnamese coconuts is highly praised.
The surge in durian exports, along with a more than 30% increase in fruit and vegetable exports compared to last year, has significantly contributed to this success. Vietnam's high-end rice varieties have maintained strong prices, while coffee exports have reached an all-time high of 4.6 billion USD. These favorable market conditions and robust demand have bolstered the agricultural sector's confidence, prompting it to aim for the new milestone of over 60 billion USD in export value this year.
Input costs are decreasing. While the war presents both challenges and opportunities, we have a well-established agricultural supply chain with crop production, livestock, veterinary services, and aquaculture, all tightly interconnected.
October witnessed a robust recovery in the northern agricultural regions previously affected by Typhoon Yagi. Key vegetable and seafood production areas are now gearing up to supply produce for the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday.
The State Bank of Vietnam has announced a lending program for the 1 million hectare high-quality, low-emission rice project in the Mekong Delta. The Vietnam Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development will spearhead the pilot phase until the end of 2025, after which other banks will join for the expansion phase through 2030.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has secured 500 million USD in funding from the World Bank after Vietnam was selected for a key project in the Asia-Pacific region. Additional funds will come from carbon credit revenue and, crucially, bank credit. The Vietnam Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, AgriBank, has also prepared to offer loans.
We selected 24 cooperatives and enterprises, 9 of which have opened accounts to apply for loan services.
Banks report that capital allocation is not an issue. However, to speed up progress, it is essential for localities to release the list of designated areas, businesses, and cooperatives participating in the project.
Provincial and city people's committees should establish production cost norms based on technical standards for cultivation to determine loan limits, as production costs vary across localities.
Vietnam is the first country to implement large-scale emission reductions in rice cultivation. Since the processes are new and lack a specific framework, successful completion of the project requires collaboration from all parties involved.
Now, before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate of today, November the 8th. Coming up next on VTV News. 17 Vietnamese universities listed in QS Asia University rankings. And 7th Hanoi International Film Festival kicks off. Welcome back to VTV News. Hà Tĩnh Provincial Police recently dismantled an illegal military-grade weapons trafficking ring. Authorities have detained and summoned 45 suspects, seizing over 500 firearms of various types, nearly 40,000 rounds of ammunition, and 211 grams of narcotics. Investigations have also revealed that the ring has sold over 1,000 firearms domestically and abroad. To date, Hà Tĩnh Province Investigative Police have prosecuted 43 individuals for illegal manufacturing, possession, trafficking, and the use of military weapons, as well as for illegal drug possession. Vietnam boasts 17 universities in the 2025 Asia University Rankings released by Quacquarelli Simons, a British higher education analytic firms. Duy Tân University maintained its position as the highest-ranked Vietnamese institution at 127th, followed by Vietnam National University of Hanoi at 161st, and the Vietnam National University of Ho Chi Minh City at 184th. This year's list also welcomes 2 newcomers, Ho Chi Minh City Open University and Vinh University. The 2025 Asia University rankings encompass 984 higher education institutions across Asia. Now, in the past, businesses in Vạn Phúc Silk Village, Hanoi, faced numerous challenges due to their reliance on traditional storefronts for transactions. However, the recent digital transformation in the village has already made a significant impact. More to follow.
This is a digital transformation training session at Block 9, Vạn Phúc Ward, Hà Đông District, Hanoi, organized by the local youth union. Most of the participants are older adults, yet they are eager to learn about new technologies.
We've been introduced to the National Digital Transformation Program by the party and the local authorities, like VNEID and e-tax mobile, which we've been able to use due to the guidance.
Business owners in Vạn Phúc Silk Village have realized the benefits of promoting products online, selling through e-commerce platforms, and offering home delivery. This has allowed them to reach a broader range of customers.
Vân used to only sell to customers who visited her store, but now she holds online sales sessions 4 times a week. Her customer base has expanded to include many regular buyers from overseas.
In this digital age, I can now showcase my products to a much larger audience, and our sales are definitely increased as a result.
Live streaming makes trade and customer connections much easier. Customers love it because they can see that these products are made by us right here in Vạn Phúc.
Today, nearly all residents of Vạn Phúc Silk Village have grown accustomed to selling their products online. Digital transformation has changed the operations of over 300 local businesses, helping them promote their products more widely to both domestic and international customers.
The 7th edition of the Hanoi International Film Festival kicked off in the capital city on Thursday evening, featuring 170 movies from 51 countries and territories worldwide. The festival presents global issues, diverse aspects of social life, as well as the beauty, unique customs, and cultural identities of nations around the world.
The Hanoi International Film Festival, or HANIF, which runs from November 7th to November 11th, is a great opportunity for Vietnamese filmmakers to meet and learn from international directors, producers, and artists, as well as keep up with current trends in the global film industry.
Last year in Cannes Film Festival, so a lot of contemporary artists and young filmmakers from Vietnam, they are shining in world cinema.
Filmmakers and actors can learn from each other in various aspects of filmmaking, from storytelling to cinematography.
The 7th HANIF showcases more than 100 films of various genres, encompassing a wide range of storytelling styles and themes, including outstanding works from the world's top film industries, such as the United States, China, and South Korea. Once Upon a Love Story, directed by Trịnh Đình Lê Minh, is one of the 10 feature films to be screened during HANIF. In addition to 19 short films, the German Cinema in Focus program introduces 7 films.
Cinema showing creativity is the major theme of this year's Films Festival. We hope the Vietnamese film industry will continue to thrive, paving the way for local talents to express their creativity.
HANIF was first held in 2010 as one of the many activities celebrating the 1000th anniversary of Thăng Long, Hanoi. The festival has contributed to promoting Vietnamese cinema worldwide, affirming its position in the global film industry.
November the 4th marked the opening of the 2024 White Sunflower Festival at Chu Dang Ya Volcano in Gia Lai Province. This annual cultural and tourism event attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors. During the festival week, the province organized various cultural activities, including gong performances and the Benar community's New Rice Festival. Other highlights include an art performance, a mountain climbing contest to conquer the volcano's peak, and a hot air balloon release. With its breathtaking natural scenery, Chiudangya has earned a place among the top 10 most beautiful volcanic craters in the world. Stunning images of the Ha Long Bay Katbar Archipelago heritage site are being showcased on CNN's Asia Network in various programs. A 30-second video segment airs 3 times daily from November the 5th to December the 2nd, 2024. This broadcast features captivating visuals highlighting the global significance of the Katbar Archipelago of Haiphong and Ha Long Bay of Quảng Ninh Province, reaching audiences worldwide. Up next on our world news, Russia is ready for dialogue with the U.S. And Fed cuts interest rates by a quarter point. Russian President Vladimir Putin has congratulated Republican President-elect Donald Trump on his election victory, emphasizing Russia's openness to dialogue with the United States. Putin makes this remark during the 21st annual meeting of the Valdai International Discussion Club in Sochi on Thursday. He highlighted Trump's promise to negotiate a quick end to the war in Ukraine, suggesting the U.S. President-elect's proposal are worth studying. President Putin also affirmed that he was ready to engage in discussion with Trump. According to Russian state-owned news agency, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov have not ruled out the possibility of Russian President Vladimir Putin holding talks with the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump ahead of his swearing-in ceremony. The Federal Reserve on Thursday announced its second interest rate cut of 2024, trimming its benchmark rate by 0.25 percentage points amid a cooling inflation. The expected move by the U.S. Central Bank provides additional relief to millions of Americans grappling with high borrowing costs. The Fed cut half the size of its September reduction, lowers the federal funds rate to a range of 4.5% to 4.75% from its current 4.75% to 5% level. Fed policymakers agreed that controlling inflation and supporting the labor market are equal priorities. According to Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, the election will have no effects on the Fed's policy decisions in the near term. The central bank will watch what happens with the economy and inflation and adjust policy as needed. Following the Fed's announcement, stock responded positively. Both the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 closed at record highs. The Dow Jones Industrial Average remained nearly unchanged, dipping by less than 1 point. Israeli strikes intensified across Gaza on Thursday. Israel issued further evacuation orders, prompting a new wave of displacement from northern Gaza. Drones flew overhead, broadcasting evacuation orders to residents in the northern part of the Shati refugee camp and 3 other residential areas in Gaza. The Israeli military cited Hamas forces launching rockets as the reason for these actions. On the same day, Gaza's Civil Defense Agency reported that an Israeli airstrike on school housing displaced people, killed 12 and injured several others. Earlier, a senior Hamas official had called for an immediate end to Israel's war against a group in Gaza, following former President Donald Trump's election victory. Cuba's national power grid has suffered a countrywide blackout as Hurricane Rafael made landfall on the island's southwest coast as a powerful Category 3 hurricane. Cubans have resorted to creativity to overcome the problems caused by the failures in the electric grid. More to follow.
The grid collapsed on Wednesday afternoon as Rafael tore across Cuba, damaging homes, uprooting trees, and toppling telephone poles. Locals said they came up with creative solutions, what they call the Cuban way, like using firewood to boil water for showers or covering their meat in salt to prevent it from spoiling.
Now I'm here heating up water. I didn't shower last night because I was worried of the wind during hurricane, so I'm heating water with my own means, as you see, with firewood, to bathe and then cook so my children can eat.
Wednesday's power cut and storm came 3 weeks after the island was lashed by Hurricane Oscar amid a 4-day nationwide blackout caused by the failure of the island's biggest power plant and a fuel shortage. Sporadic outages have continued since then.
The power went out and we have had some difficulties. But we grow when there are difficulties, because we create, we invent. For example, when there are problems with the refrigerator, we put salt on the meat so it doesn't spoil. We boil water ahead of time, or have candles, rechargeable lamps and even mobile phones for when there's darkness.
Wednesday's power cut and storm came 3 weeks after the island was lashed by Hurricane Oscar amid a 4-day nationwide blackout caused by the failure of the island's biggest power plant and a fuel shortage. Sporadic outages have continued since then.
And up next is the weather forecast. And that's the end of VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from App Store or Google Play, or visit our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.